I'm Dr. Victoria Seals, the president of Atlanta Technical College, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Eloisa Klementich, the president and CEO of Invest Atlanta. The missions of Invest Atlanta and Atlanta Technical College are intertwined. We both strive to end poverty and increase economic prosperity for our citizens and communities, but it begins with equity and access to opportunities. Now, Dr. Klementich's role on the local board of directors, coupled with her passion for our students, has led us into this time of increased exposure and public-private partnerships, accelerating workforce development and job creation. We are excited to have her on as a guest, and we look forward to hearing how Invest Atlanta is advancing Atlanta's global competitiveness by growing a strong economy and building vibrant communities by leveraging connections to local, regional, national, and global partners. Because of partners like Invest Atlanta, the college's regional impact is $200 million, and we look forward to more opportunities to grow Atlanta together. Thank you, Dr. Klementich, for your hard work, and we can't wait to hear all that you have going on. So let's take a listen.
Welcome to Atlanta Tech Talks, where we introduce you to the people, programs, and partnerships that move the Atlanta Technical College and the Atlanta region forward. I'm your host, Jason Warner, and we have an amazing show for you today. We have a true Renaissance woman, professor, businesswoman, worked in the White House, and she is the outgoing chair of our local board of directors, but most importantly, she's the president and CEO of Invest Atlanta. And a lot of people don't know what Invest Atlanta really does. It's a really cool name, right? But what is it? Talk to us about, I want you to talk to us about experience at the White House and what Invest Atlanta, because I think that's so cool.
Well, thank you. Again, yes, Dr. Eloisa Klementich, and I'm president and CEO at Invest Atlanta. Invest Atlanta is the economic development arm for the city. So technically, we are the authority that works for the city. Our goal and our mission is to ensure that Atlanta is an Atlanta for everyone.
Right.
And so we are very, very comprehensive. I'd say we, under just myself and my colleagues before me, have really made Invest Atlanta, I think, the stellar organization that it is if you look across nationally. So are many organizations nationally that do what we do but have separate organizations.
Right.
We have everything housed under one roof. And why does that matter? That means we coordinate and we're talking to each other, which makes a huge difference when we talk about dollars in terms of how do you leverage them to the maximum potential.
You know, it's interesting, right? Because people think about economic development and they think about building skyscrapers and different things. But you guys do more than that. You talk about affordable housing, workforce development. So talk a little bit about that part of Invest Atlanta.
Okay, so if you think of Invest Atlanta, I always like to say, think of us in three main verticals. So
Okay.
the first vertical is community development.
Right.
So what are you doing in terms of housing? And we see housing in a spectrum. Housing can go from someone who's homeless all the way up to someone who's just graduated from college or a professional.
Right.
We're going to use our partners and leverage our partners. We're going to focus on an individual that earns about 60% AMI, which in our lingo just means someone about $45,000 a year,
Okay.
all the way up to about $60,000 to $70,000 a year in terms of rental.
Right.
That's where our sweet spot. And then we're going to use our neighbors for others. But within that housing, we want you to be able to find the housing you need to in the city in the form you want to. So do you want to buy a house? Do you want to rent a house? In both of those, we play in and try to support individuals in Atlanta. So to buy a home, we have down payment assistance programs. So for any of your listeners out there, if they're interested, we can give them free money. That I'll just say free money again for about $10,000 to $30,000, depending on the program, for your down payment. Now, what's the hook? Yes, there is one. And it is, but it is. It just says you have to stay in your home for either 5 or 10 years.
Okay.
Why do we put that in there? Because we don't want these programs to go to flippers. The idea is for individuals that need the support and are going to stay in the community. So if you're going to plan to stay in the community, this is a great program for you. There is no other hook but that one. So I would
that's
say
awesome.
the first step is to start by taking our training course. So you go online, take our course, and it tells you everything about our program. So that's down payment assistance. On the rental side, what we try to do is support developers by creating more affordable housing rental units. So you'll see us every month. In fact, last month we did the most affordable housing units that we've seen in a very long time at Invest Atlanta. And we're now over 3,000 affordable housing units that we've helped to support. So for us, it's support. So again, you want to buy your home or you want to rent your home, we want you to be able to find what you need at an affordable cost.
This is amazing because it brings everything together. In a previous life, I worked in local government and helped with community development, economic development, and all those different things. But to see it in one shop, it really helps.
I have to
because
tell
folks
you, Unique,
are able to go to one place to find the things that they need, from development
the
to real
only
estate
other
to
cities that
building businesses.
that do this is San Francisco and I think San Bernardino in California. That's it. Nationally.
Wow.
So we are one of three. So that's the first piece. The second is on community development. We do a lot of work on commercial corridor development. So just outside here in the college, metropolitan is a key focus for us. So we're going to look at what can we do to help support businesses along the metropolitan corridor. That could be from facade improvement, right? You as a student are going to go to a place that looks nice and it's got all the services you want. So what are we going to do to ensure that our businesses are successful? So you'll see on the ComDev side, housing, commercial corridor development, and then what we have now is an anti-displacement fund. So remember I talked about how we want to make Atlanta home for everyone?
For everyone.
One of the big things we see is gentrification, bringing in new people into communities, not necessarily bad, as long as it's not accompanied by displacement. So what you want to ensure is, yes, welcome new people, new cultures, new everything to your communities, but because I've been in Atlanta for many, many years, I shouldn't feel forced to leave. Like I can't afford to live here anymore. And that's what we want to prevent. And so we have a specific program for anti-displacement. We're starting it in targeted areas because it's very costly. But we have one around the Beltline. We have one in the West Side, and we're looking to launch the next one. I'm still trying to define where it'll be in the community. But what it basically means is if you're paying $100 on your taxes, you will continue to pay $100. So if taxes go up because now more people are coming to your community, you pay your $100 and you go to the fund for the additional amount. So taxes should not be the reason why you feel pushed out. And that's what we want to prevent.
So grandma who's had their home since the 50s, right? They don't have to worry about, man, this McMansion was built beside me. I've made some improvements over the years, but I still can afford to pay. We do not have to get rid of our home. It can stay as a wealth generator for generations to come.
You hit it right on it. So our biggest thing is we want to create an Atlanta for everyone. That what we have to ensure is that everyone can stay and participate in the growth. And I believe everyone has a right to a wonderful neighborhood with great schools, great sidewalks, great, amenities. But what does that do? That attracts more people to your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
So the last thing we realized to try to keep people is, specifically talking about our grandparents, which we love, is how do we ensure that they can stay in their home? And if their home, let's say, has a leaking roof, or maybe no roof, and we have seen some cases, or plumbing, and I'm not saying these are the HGTV, we're not coming in and doing that, but we're doing critical repairs. So we have a program under our Housing Opportunity Bond where we'll go into our seniors, our disabled, our veteran community, and we'll fix those items for them. So we're repairing them so they don't have to move. And that's the whole point, is taxes and make sure that the house is in a condition. So that's the work we do on the community development side, which keeps the team very busy. Then on the economic development side, we're going to do everything about what can we ensure that Atlanta is competitive, because we're not competing against Charlotte. We're not competing against our national cities. We're competing against international cities. So what are we doing to ensure that the city itself is competitive for growth? And that's what we're doing with our businesses. So you'll see us on the attracting new companies, ensuring our current companies are strong, and then spending time on innovation and entrepreneurship, which I know is important to this university, but how we're creating the next student, the next innovative idea, supporting the next gazelle That's going to be important for Atlanta.
That's a great segue into the next question and talking about, here at Atlanta Technical College, we develop a talent pipeline that actually moves the city forward. And you guys are building that development and attracting the best and the brightest organizations and companies to actually position themselves here in Atlanta so we can have the best place to live, work, and play. So talk to us a little bit about how the work Atlanta Technical College does, because you wear that hat as well, and the work that you all do at Invest Atlanta is synergistic to move the region forward.
We also often talk about that we love to be the number one, the best city to do business, the city with the most and the largest airport. I mean, always number one.
Right.
That one list you don't want to be number one on is income inequality. And that is one that we are keenly focused. Atlanta continues to be either one or within the top 3 of income inequality. Our goal is we'd love to be at the bottom of that list.
Right.
And what are we all doing to ensure we're at the bottom? Which goes directly to respond to your question. Atlanta Technical College will be crucial in our ability to move to the bottom of that list, and which would mean that right now in Atlanta, there's about a 4% chance. If you're living in poverty, you only have a 4% chance that you're going to move out of poverty. We need to change that and flip that around. And Atlanta Technical College is going to be crucial because there are ways that you can move the economic mobility needle. And the first and foremost is education. And the technical skills that people learn here are going to be crucial to not only impacting their life, but the life of their family and their extended family. So I could not say how important the work that Atlanta Technical College is doing under Dr. Sill's leadership, her vision to move this school and this community forward is essential with the programs that you're offering. Right. I love the culinary arts program, the transportation program that we're offering. All of these provide individuals with jobs that are at a higher rate than $8 an hour. And we've looked in and we believe that we have to get people to anywhere to $18 to $22 an hour, so they only have to work one job.
Right.
That's the goal. One job, you can live, support your family, and that's what we were trying to get people.
It's interesting. I say a lot of times on this podcast, we create pandemic-proof careers and recession-proof careers. When I first started engaging with ATC, it was like, wow, this is a best-kept secret, and it shouldn't be a secret. And I feel like I'm trying to tell the world about the opportunities of a technical education. You talk about $8 an hour and $20 an hour. We're seeing a lot of our programs are diesel mechanic programs. They're making $70+ an hour. Our aviation mechanics program, they're coming out of here making $130,000 to $140,000 in 18 months, right? With a guaranteed job. So it's so amazing that type of experience and exposure that young people have, or even people that are transitioning from one career to the next. You led the helm here.
Yeah,
right?
And let me just tell you how important that is, right? Because at the end of the day, what we all do, or why people say, well, Eloisa, why do you do what you do? Well, right. I love this job. And the reason I love the job that I have is because you make a difference. Being able to see families coming out of poverty, families, we talk about how important affordable housing is. And we are going to build it. But I cannot build myself out of the need for affordable housing.
Right.
That has to only be one part of the solution. The other is, how do I get someone to no longer need the affordable housing and empower themselves? They need those skill sets. That's why this school is so important, because they're going to learn the skills. They're going to be able to take those. And then it's not just themselves. It's themselves and their family, their children, their parents, everybody around them that's going to benefit from the education they receive here.
So you do wear multiple hats, right? As our outgoing chair of our local board of directors, talk about the vision you like to see in the next few years for Atlanta Technical College, and how it matches with what you do in your everyday life here in Atlanta.
I was so proud of the team, Dr. Sills and her entire team. At one point, the school lost their accreditation for the airport, or the airport training. That was terrible, the aviation training. Right. We got it back.
Right.
And why does that matter? We talked about the number one airport in the world. I'm not talking national. In the world. There's more people flying. How could we not have an aviation training program? So thinking about the vision forward is how do we move forward? And you started it, Jason, at the beginning about how do you create jobs, how do you create training programs that are going to sustain the next recession, that are going to sustain the next slowdown. We live in a capitalist economy.
Right.
Okay, so if you look throughout our history, there are natural ebbs and flows in this economy. So it's gonna come. It's just part of this. And thank goodness, right? We're free. Thank goodness our forefathers that have set this up. But so now the question is, how do you ensure that you can, instead of seeing big ups and downs, that it's more of a level, right? That you sustain this. And so I think that this school has the opportunity of creating careers and programs that adjust. And I think that's one of the things I've enjoyed most about being on the board is I got a chance to approve many of those new programs. I love that there's a new program or there's a new specialty. The next thing I know, the Atlanta Technical College has a new program that's going to fulfill you and you get your degree in that or you get a certification.
Right.
That kind of continual iteration. And let me just close with, I believe that if you're not continually improving yourself or changing or ebbing to where the changes are, you become irrelevant. And I don't see that here at ATC. I continue to see programming shifting, courses shifting to where the needs are so that we are relevant in the future and that we're providing students with the training they need to be successful.
Going back again to recession-proof and pandemic-proof because we create programs to meet the needs, and that's so important. It's interesting. We were talking about the workforce. We were talking about opportunities, but as young people, we have what we say almost cradle to grave here because we have our our babies at the nursery. We have folks learning. We have folks that are transitioning from one career to another. But what advice can you give a student that's leaving at ATC or thinking about coming to ATC, right? And they're going into the workforce and they're preparing because you're talking to developers, you're talking to recruiting businesses from all over the world. What are the skill sets that they need to be successful in this economy?
So I'm gonna break down that question into two. Hopefully, I didn't read more into it, but I'd say first for your woman student, and I'm gonna call us out for just a second.
Okay.
I think knowing that we all get many no's. And I have to tell you, I have 3 wonderful, beautiful daughters. I tell them the same thing. You're going to get many, many no's throughout your career. You only need one yes, and that gets you that next shot. And so don't let that one no stop you. Don't let that, you're going to say, oh, I want to do this. Oh, sorry, you can't do that. Okay. Then go find another opportunity. Right. Don't take it as oh my God, I'm a failure. It's no, okay, that one's not going to work. I'm going to find an alternative path. And let that make you even much stronger because I think there is a certain path that we have to walk. Right. And I think especially knowing a lot of those that attend Atlanta Technical College, I think as minorities, we have even more of a challenge. So let's just be real and know that you're going to receive that no, but just let it build you the character to even fight even stronger because you're going to get to your end goal. You might not go the way you wanted, but you're going to get there at the end of the day.
It's a cycle.
And then for all of our students, I would say is once you've identified your path in your career, just focus and just get it done. Sometimes there's a lot of noise. There's noise in everything we do. And what I mean by noise is you've got family demands, you've got neighbors, you've got work, you've got friends, you've got all of these different areas that are pulling you, but stay really keenly focused on what's going to matter at the end of the day. Right. And I think that's going to allow you to change and make an impact, the impact we all want to see. Because then when you finally kind of pick your head up, you're like, oh my God, I'm done. Done it, you've accomplished. And I've attended many graduations and I think that just makes it for all of us is just seeing the smiles, seeing the commitment and seeing all that hard work pay off because it pays off. Let me be clear.
Awesome.
It does pay off.
Awesome. So here's another tip type of question, right? Because one of the things that I see, there's an opportunity to leave here and scale, right? So you can come out as a diesel mechanic and you say, hey, there's a lot of people coming through this program and there's a need for diesel mechanics. I can open a shop and hire all these folks, right? There's a need for HVAC, electricians, aviation, supply chain, all of those things. So many of our students may become business owners, right? And they will come to Invest Atlanta to say, you know, we want to expand our business right here in the city, or even they may say they want to go somewhere else, but we want to stay home,
in the
right?
city.
What can a potential business owner start to do now, or start to think about now, as they prepare once they leave here to expand and scale? Because one of the things we really talk about, right? You have a job, but when you build a business, it's about scaling and putting systems in.
Right. Two things. First, I would say is I think we all get to a point in our career or in your path
Right.
where you are challenged to take a step and you look and you don't see anything. And you just got to believe that you're not going to fall. And I would say that to all of our entrepreneurs or anyone even in a professional, because I think we all question, can I do it? Or maybe it's a little bit scary, whether you're going to start your business or you're going to move up professionally. Either one of those, I think they're at that point. So the first thing I would say is take the step.
Right.
Something will be there. You're too prepared for you not to take the step. So if you take that step, or positive thinking, when you take your step and you decide to open up your business, I'd say whether you're in the city, which I hope you are, but if you're not, go look. There are economic development agencies almost in every city, or some sort of economic development effort. Know where you put your business. Place does matter in this city. And the reason I say place matters in the sense of your business, you got to be in a good place, accessible for your customers. But in terms of incentives, it does matter as well. Are you in an underserved community? Are you in an opportunity zone? All of these special designations give you access to different type of grants and initiatives. So just know, you may decide, I'm going to move here because it's the best location for my business.
Right.
And you may not be in one of the designated, but you should know. Now, I would also say is if you come to Invest Atlanta, we specifically have loans and we run loan programs. Right now, we have one today. So if anybody needs a loan today, we have one at 3% interest. Do you know what the average interest rate is right now?
For a business loan.
For a business loans, running upwards of 8%.
Wow.
So 3%, I can't give you free money, but it's close as I can get to. And so it's 3% interest. And so it really is an opportunity, because what we want to see is businesses continue to grow.
Right.
And so this is the opportunity. Now, why does it matter to us? A business grows, not only the business owner impacts their family, their ownership, their opportunities, but then they begin to hire more employees.
Absolutely.
And then we impact their employees and then their families. And so the idea for us is, how do we continue to expand to move that economic mobility needle? And so we could do it through education or entrepreneurship. That's why you see us so focused on both of those. Education piece will be with Atlanta Technical College. We're going to figure out how we continue to help. But the other one is entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is a way to create wealth in families. And we recognize.
You know, it's interesting, right? Because we talked about a little earlier that learning is lifelong, right? And I think one thing, a nugget I took from that is, as a person that is matriculated through an institution, you still have to learn, right? You still have to engage with that local economy, that local government, to find out the tools, the resources that are there. I hear so many people that say, I'm not into politics, or I'm not, that's not. No, like, this is a quasi-government institution. If it is not there and you don't tap into those resources, you'll be left out. And you're saying, well, there's nothing for me. No, you just didn't look for the resources that are there.
Right. I would say or it's timing, right? Oftentimes we get pots of money. The city government may say, city council may say, here, Eloisa, go operate a loan program. We're going to go operate the loan program. We'll get all the money out. And maybe you come back to us and I don't have anything, but I may have something in the next month. So I'd say, to your point, stay very attuned to the programs. We happen to have programs, money now. I also had the opportunity to apply for a Wells Fargo grant and receive $20 million that we're getting out right now in loans, facade improvement, technical assistance. This is all free. Technical assistance is free. You can access it now. I have a question. I want to start my business. You don't know how? Go get free help. Why are you going to pay for it?
Right.
We paid for it already for you.
Right. So I have last two questions. This is a question that we ask all the time. And I'm going to make it a little bit harder for you. No pressure.
All right.
But you are a college professor. I mean, you worked in the White House. And you lead at Invest Atlanta. So leave us with your Atlanta Tech Talk success tip. We ask everyone to leave us with one tip. It could be a personal tip. It could be something that you learned throughout your career, but leave us with one tip.
Well, I'll tell you, the tip that comes to mind is my father always said to me, nothing lasts forever. And that's kind of really sat and ingrained. And so the good times and the bad times. So what you have to do is you have to ensure that you're taking advantage of every moment you have and every opportunity you have to make a difference, because it will soon be gone. And so don't let those good opportunities, by. The bad ones are going to pass by, and stay focused on what you need to do to make a difference. Because at the end of the day, when we're all older and we're sitting back and we've all won the lotto and we're all retiring and kicking our feet back, what impact did you leave? How are people going to remember you? How do you want to be remembered?
Right.
And I think that's going to be an important question. And now is your time to shape it, especially those who are watching. You're younger, you could shape what that will look like. And what kind of world are you going to leave for your children or your grandchildren? I think that's going to be important. Got to make it just a little bit better. If we make it all just a little bit better,
incrementally, it'll be better.
It'll be better.
This is amazing. And the last question is, how can people find out more about Invest Atlanta?
The best place to go is always our website, www.investatlanta.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We send out newsletters once a month, so you find out what we're doing and all of the specific programs. But more importantly, please stay engaged. We're on social media. We're on all of our social outlets. You'll be able to watch what we'll do. Any new program we put out, we'll put it out on social media. I'm really excited as well. We have chat function. I think the first in the city that actually have a chat, and our rate is we respond back within 17 seconds.
Awesome.
So we're on our chat watching it and trying to answer all your questions.
Well, Dr. Klementich, thank you. This has been an amazing show. I've learned so much. I hope our listeners have learned so much. I'd like to thank Dr. Victoria Seals for allowing us to have Atlanta Tech Talks, to share these amazing stories, to connect with partners and people. I mean, this is our outgoing board chair, and you're not going to leave us. You're still going to be around.
I still bug doctors. I still call Dr. Seals.
So if you all want to find out more about Atlanta Technical College, visit www.atlantatech.edu. I'm your host, Jason Warner. This has been Atlanta Tech Talks, and we'll see you next time.